recording, right, Pace? Yep, live stream.
Yep, you guys are live.
Perfect.
Looks good.
So it was nice to spend some time at those conferences, get our name out, check it out.
Yeah. Awesome. Perfect. Introduce yourselves.
Probably should wait till we get a few more participants on. You guys know who I am, right?
I think so, yeah. Most days.
I am a bit of a Jekyll and Hyde. You are correct, Carrie. This could be a short AMA.
I think it's Friday. I think everyone's gearing up for the weekend, maybe.
And everyone's just tired of the, oh, there's a being that walked behind me. Yeah, no, I mean, the markets have been the markets for a few weeks. People are getting a little bit gun shy, I think, so about everything. So,
Yeah.
but we're hanging in there. We're doing our thing. Good time to stack. I'm going to stack on the weekend, I think. I just have to have Mike help me move it from my ledger. That's all.
Are you
Which I
buying
think
one?
yeah, I'm going to buy more. Yeah. So,
Well, Ethereum got a nice little bump today, so.
yeah.
Yeah. And that was another thing too, is just being at the conferences this past week that there's still so much energy and enthusiasm in the market. So, even though we're in a bear market, there's still so much hope.
There is lots of hope, and there's, and it's a huge market, right? So, I mean, I think there will be people who, go by the wayside, and probably best for everybody in some of those cases. So,
Yeah, and it's just truly the communities that have the most passion and fire that are gonna make
survive.
it.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
Or stubborn like me and you and Mike and Paige.
Exactly. Yeah. But it was definitely reinvigorating.
Well, for us, it's interesting because we talk to more and more people who wouldn't even talk to us 6 months ago. Now they're reaching out. They want to talk to us because they recognize the differentiator is what we are doing, and it's taken that whole, the whole originality and ownership. Like I talked with a client this morning. I'll clue you guys in at the ops call, but it was a mainstream business who hadn't really thought about this, and you actually have a meeting coming out of it next week, Carrie, because they're doing some really cool stuff, and they're going to do it with interpretive dance and NFTs, and it's like, so I said, look, you need to start really hashing this stuff every step of the way. It makes it so much easier for Carrie and everybody else.
Yeah. Awesome.
Okay.
And hi, Ben, and hi, Leo. How are you guys doing today? Hope you guys followed us on Twitter to see the insight to the conference this week. Got a little insight into all the fun UREEQA happenings there. So do you guys so far, Ben or Leo, do you guys have any questions for us? I know you guys have been community members for a long time, but any other things that you might have on your mind?
While the questions are coming in, I'm going to share my experience as well at Collision. There's, the sentiments have been exactly the same. Everyone's, for me, I think everyone's just feeling that there's a lot of news out there about, what's happening with the market, and a lot of people feeding into the news about what's happening. And a lot of people feel like there's a difference between what's actually happening when they look at the long term versus what everyone is seeing and talking about. And I think the general sentiment in this space is that everyone's saying now is the time to build. And I think that's exactly where we're at, and that's what we're saying as well.
Amazing. Yeah, so that's what Leo's asking. How did we enjoy the conference? And yeah, it was pretty awesome seeing so many people across the world, really, with so much passion. So, and just on the UREEQA side too, I had people, once they learned about UREEQA, chasing me down to get more information, to get my contact, because they said there's no other mover in the space protecting artists like we're trying to do right now. So it was pretty uplifting. So Leo, Carrie, I know you met some creators at NFT NYC. What was the overall feel of UREEQA? Did they understand our mission? Met many creators, especially at Disrupt Art. So that the event we sponsored and that I spoke at. They totally understood the validation process and what we do here at UREEQA. And they said that the exact word for word was that they were hanging on to every word of our mission statement. So they said that everyone else seems like they're trying to, I guess, take advantage and do a quick, mint and flip with creators instead of actually considering their long-term, longevity in the space. And they feel like UREEQA is more there to be a partner to protect them rather than just to make a quick buck off of them. So, and then Ben says, has UREEQA considered how easily available AI tools are going to impact the business model of UREEQA? Do you want to talk about that, Mike, with AI?
Sure, absolutely. So we are definitely looking at AI tools, but the validation process that we have currently involves a team of validators, and I think the end solution that we are considering is going to be a hybrid model, something that encompasses the use of automated tools so that we can scale and do a lot more validations all at the same time. But also, we want to have that human touch and the ability for someone to sort of double check or cross check the work of the validation, because the AI tools that are available today, they're not perfect. So, we don't want to entirely rely just on AI and the existing software that's out there, but we definitely want to leverage them so that we can grow and scale.
Okay, this is a question from And1 regarding trading volume. I think today we're talking about validation and the platform, not about the token itself. Should we handle that one, Mike, or do you want to just focus on the topic today?
I wouldn't be able to answer any question on trading volumes anyway.
Marco question, the VP of crypto strategy. Leo says, Joe and Mike, I know we have recently started to support Avalanche. How has the transition been so far?
So Avalanche has been great. Actually, we've learned a lot of new things about Avalanche, and we have launched the UREEQA token on Avalanche, and it's available through the token bridge that I can't remember what it's called. But yeah, it is available via the token bridge, so you can bridge your tokens from ETH to Avalanche and Avalanche back to ETH. We're also looking at bringing our NFT smart contracts and our validation process to Avalanche. That'll be another platform that we're able to support. As of today, we're currently supporting Polygon and Ethereum, and Avalanche just seemed like a logical next step for us. So we're in the process of getting that done.
Fogo is also posting one from CryptoCon from Telegram. What security measures is your UREEQA taking to ensure that any NFTs being validated are safe and not leaked, both in terms of the tech and the validators? So in terms of validators on my end, we have the validators all sign a validator service agreement to ensure that they understand the liability and that they agree to not misappropriate any of the art that we're working with. We also thoroughly vet the validators as well. So that means performing KYC process. That also means we do an in-person interview with them as well before they're approved, and they go through a training program. So we do have that on the non-tech side for our validation team. Okay.
Yeah, and I just want to add security in terms of tech has, that's been our foundation. That's entirely what we're built on. So we're continuously reviewing all of the smart contracts. We do external audits. We are currently reviewing our platform. We're working towards SOC 2 certification. We're doing we have a bug bounty program for external reviewers and auditors as well to report any issues that they may find on our platform. So security is our top priority, and it's something that we're always going to be focused on.
Awesome. And Leo's also said AI tools are useful, but I think they will complement UREEQA. For example, tool can detect if I create the NFT, but cannot say whether or not I have legal rights to it. So yeah, because we do the full investigation process, we take it a bit further than AI capabilities have at the moment. So it's another tier to the security rather than something we're flipping on.
Yes, and Fogel said Chainport Bridge. That's the one I was trying to remember. It just completely slipped me.
Perfect. Good question so far, guys. Thank you. See, Fogel, do we have any other questions from Telegram or? Leo says, I know we partnered with ZeroChan. Any updates on that?
I can probably handle that, Mike. So Zero Chain is still in the process of bringing up a production system at this point. They've worked through a lot of things. We've seen some of their advancements. We're not ready to commit to them as far as moving our stuff there at this point. That IPFS platform has to be secure for us to move NFT rights over to them. So still playing with them. We believe they're a real project, and we do have a touch base on a regular basis.
Sam says, what is an NFT?
You want to do the definition of a non-fungible token, Mike?
Absolutely. I mean, an NFT is a way to tokenize an asset. Most people say that tokenization of digital assets, but the way we see it is that there's much more that's happening in the NFT space. So it's definitely a way to represent and prove ownership of, I would say, both a physical and digital asset on the blockchain.
Awesome.
And when you talk about NFTs and tokenization, the key to our existence is that the validation of that NFT going onto the blockchain is what people need to be looking for. Anyone can put an article or an item up on the blockchain, but if it's not validated and properly vetted, you'll end up with a situation we are right now, where you have a lot of garbage out there that people are, playing with. So as we work through the crypto winter, or whatever you want to call it, the markets today, we are getting more and more interest for people who have never been in the NFT market, like mortgage houses and stuff like that. So those are things that allow us to really tell our story, show our proof points, and bring on more mainstream businesses versus a smaller universe of just crypto people. So it's kind of cool.
Awesome. Leo asks, can each of you share what your personal highlight of NFT New York City and Collision conference were? Mike, do you want to start with your highlight?
Sure, I can start. The highlights for me at Collision, well, Collision wasn't necessarily a crypto conference. It was more of an entirely tech conference. So crypto was sort of a small piece of that. But what we see, like in general, or at least my experience has been that there's a lot of energy out there. There's a lot of productivity. There's lots of people building, and we can see clearly that everyone is not necessarily focused on the news and everything else that is surrounding us. Everyone is looking towards the future, especially in crypto. Most people believe that, we're just seeing the beginning. I've been working in crypto myself for maybe close to 10 years now, and we're just getting started. So the next decade, the next 10 years seems to be where everyone's paying attention to and they're building towards, and that does not exclude us. Like, we're definitely building an infrastructure and platform and systems so that we can validate all of those assets that you guys want to tokenize and want to make them into NFTs and all of that stuff. And that's where we fit into the picture. And, I'm extremely excited by the energy that I see out there. And also, on a personal note, it was very exciting to meet with other people after the last few years we've had.
That's true. I would say one of my highlights was I feel like I learned the most out of the legal portion on the last day. There was such a highlight on IP and copyright, and how it was a bunch of blockchain attorneys and lawyers who were speaking about how NFT collections haven't had a focus on those areas previously, and it's now just coming to light. But UREEQA has been focusing on the past year, so it's going to be a huge issue coming up, and we're going to have the product in order to combat those issues, which is pretty awesome. The other highlight was even meeting NFT collections such as Punk Angels. I also met with someone that was working with the Samsung, Mercedes. There's just such big names there as well, who are just dipping their toes into the blockchain space. So there's just so much on the horizon in this area. So it was just really invigorating to see so much energy and hype that's going to be coming soon. Next question was also for me. How did your presentation at NFT NYC go? Was it your first, and how did you feel? It was my first presentation in front of that amount of people at such a conference. Felt really great about it. At first, of course, really nervous, but I know the material frontwards and backwards, so I was pretty confident when I was presenting. But it was the after effect of I had people chasing me down to speak to me, to talk to me, to get my contact. So it was 3 blockchain lawyers that wanted to talk to me and partner with UREEQA. I had artists that wanted more information and wanted to commend UREEQA on what they were doing. I had an artist, he creates paintings and replicates those on chairs, want to see how he can get involved. So it was just, it was overwhelming, the response that we got afterwards. So it was great. Another one was from Telegram, so from Laser Frog. How will validators scale effectively as the platform grows? So we have a really good validation team right now. They're able to complete the work that we have. About how we are going to grow it, we do have a number of applications. I'd say almost 50 applications for people who do want to be validators. We just want to make sure that they're vetted properly. So we want to make sure KYC goes through, that we have our in-person interviews also for that security reason. So we do have quite the appetite for people who want to become it. We just don't want to have too many so that they're not getting the jobs that they want. So what we'll be doing is we'll be slowly growing it as the need increases. Let's see. Next one. So what would be UREEQA's ideal collection to validate from each of your perspectives? Since I've been talking so much, Joe or Mike, do you want to start with one of those?
Sure. From a business perspective and what we would be looking for, we're looking for, quite honestly, a project or a collection that has a social impact, something that is meaningful. It could be green, it can be women in the arts, it can be, a health focused group. But I think that there is a lot of energy that comes from that sort of purpose, and it is a differentiator in the everyday, marketplace. Looking for something that is probably 5,000 to 10,000 NFTs, generative art type, where you have a manageable number of traits for Carrie and team to validate and get out. Looking for real people. I mean, we were lucky. We had really good people to work with on Venus First. The artists were good, and they really they got into it. They understood that this was a way to protect their work as well. And doing the docs on the actual collection sort of sponsor company, whatever you want to call it, is increasingly important. So for me, it has to have a good set of good team docs that we know that this is real, this is there, and these people are in it for the long run. And if it does have a social or charitable component, we feel that money will get to those charities clean. For me, that's what's important. Mike?
Sure, I can go next. I mean, I share sort of the same view as Joe there. I don't really have one particular NFT collection in mind, but I would like to see a collection that supports creators maybe outside of North America in different countries that are experiencing multiple different challenges all across the world. And I know, and I've seen just from experience at Collision and previously at the Avalanche conference, that there's lots of collections out there that are doing NFTs for good and for goodwill. And those are the type of collections that I'd be pretty excited to be a part of.
Yeah. And for me, based on the conference, it was the collections who have the community behind it and a properly laid out roadmap that is tangible and has the proper leadership to complete the roadmap items as well. One of the things that we saw was with the Lazy Lions, we actually met with the head of it, Asher and Nines, and their community is incredible. It's like no other. And in order to provide their artists and the community protection with UREEQA, it's nice to have the community backing and other people who will support and appreciate that type of protection. So yeah. Next one is, with UREEQA supporting ETH and AVAX, are we still actively trying to support other chains like Polygon? Personally, AVAX was a lifesaver for us small fry DCAers. From Leo.
So the answer is yes, and we've addressed this a number of times at different meetings. We currently have lined up 2 more exchanges that we want to move forward on. It quite frankly comes down to the hurdles for entry. So number of active trading, number of dollars we'd have to put up for liquidity pools twinned. So we're working through that. When the time is right and we're in a position where we would push, we'll do at least 2. I had another one come in the other day, which is really interesting. Marco's doing some work with them now just to vet them and see what it would look like. So answer is yes. We did a Dave East drop on Polygon. It worked really well. It's super for costs. I mean, if I compare that to the Venus First drop, the gas fees were, exponential in difference. So it was interesting. So yeah, we were absolutely looking at other exchanges to work
on. Next question is, what is UREEQA's ultimate end goal? Marketplace, validation as a service, or artist incubator?
So let me handle that one to start. So marketplace is interesting. You'll notice that we're starting to partner with someone like Disrupt Art, which is a marketplace. We're doing another one coming up down. We're hoping the end of July, before the end of July, with another marketplace out of Asia Pac. We will always have a marketplace at UREEQA, and that is for artists that are emerging and they don't want to deal with OpenSea or Ava or Poly or whoever, Disrupt. But we will partner with strong marketplaces and we will guide artists to those. So, we do believe there is a marketplace need. Originally, for the last 14 months, it's been a place for us to test, and it's proven out our technology, and it's been really good. Validation as a service, absolutely a core of this business. Validation as a service for collections is going to be a huge part of our success in 2022. And we've got a number of initiatives around that to drive that. If you've been on our website recently, you'll know there's a referral program on collections. We have a list of well over 160 collections right now that we're targeting and talking to. We brought on a new BD resource that is going to focus on those collections primarily, and we're excited that she's joined us, and lots of energy, and so it is it's a show of our commitment to validation as a service. And then we do have another piece of our business that's kind of different, which is our music admin business, and we're bringing on music songwriters, artists, and having them join our team, take their works, timestamp them, hash them at night, move it on. And then as a spin-off, or as an extension, not a spin-off, as an extension of that platform, we're going to be into some really interesting projects with artists, groups of artists. We'll do things like songwriting camps, all those things that help young emerging artists in the music space. So.
Another question from Leo is, if you were to compare state of NFTs in 2021 to 2022, not including price, what would be your opinion? I personally feel like it's becoming more mainstream. So this is an interesting one. I saw a seminar at NFT NYC with Logan Paul. So I'm sure if you guys know Logan Paul, he's quite a famous Viner YouTuber. He actually, some were saying that he had purchased over like 47 million in NFTs in the past year. So he actually did a presentation on bridging Web 2 popularity into the Web 3 world. So he's saying that that was his goal. His goal was to actually mainstream the Web 3 world, to have his audience and his reach educate the masses and teach them how to become, knowledgeable in NFTs and what blockchain is. So I think even having those huge supporters in like Hollywood and influencers, they're trying to bridge that gap as well. So I think with more people coming on board, I think it's going to become more mainstream. So
yeah. We've got a number of use cases or cycles we're into right now. So we're talking to insurance companies that want to use NFTs. We're talking to banks who their clients want to use NFTs as collateral for loans. So that's where we come in. We'll validate those NFTs, say they're real and who they are, and they're the rightful owner. Mortgage companies want to do a money raise for a portion of a large project, just to be different. So mainstream is looking at, right now it's a novelty for some pieces. Others are saying that this is actually going to be part of their risk structure for a bank. This guy's got $47 million in NFTs. What's it really worth? Because that's what a bank asks every time. So absolutely, I think we're just the tip of the iceberg in 2022. I think, we should ask this question of each other in 2030, and we'll see how big that is, because I think it will be huge.
Yeah, I agree. So Crypto asks, how do we scout artists specifically? It's a good question. I know when I was at the conference, some of the artists it's unique, emerging, original artists that do have, who know the space with blockchain, or sometimes need to be educated. But that's tough. There's no like specific, I guess, niche we're looking for, just someone who wants to get out there and use blockchain to protect their work. But yeah, like even the guy that I mentioned that was painting chairs as his medium, it's different, it's unique, but yeah, good question. Hard one to answer, but.
Yeah. And I don't think we scout. I think that we need, and we're working on doing a better job of putting ourselves out there. We should be We should have people coming to us because they're compelled to protect themselves. So that we more focus on a little bit more education. We are, we believe we're cost effective. And then we've added people in like Maria. Maria comes from a community of artists and been part of a collective and a leader of a collective. And, her first 2 weeks here, she's basically spending her time reaching out into her community and getting them behind this project and letting them understand what the strength of UREEQA brings to that community. She spent a lot of time vetting us before she even applied for the job. So she knew she wanted to come to us. And then, and now she's been fairly immersed for the first 10 days. I spent a lot of time with Carrie and Paisley and Mike and everybody on the team so that she's confident she can go out there and I guess that's scouting or prospecting, whatever you want to call it. So she's out there now really pushing in the community in the European marketplace at this point. So
another comment I got from our artist was that she approached us and came to us because she's been terrified of sharing her work digitally. So she's a painter by her medium, but she's terrified of right-click bandits just taking her work. So she knows she needs to because that's where the world is going to, but she didn't know how to protect herself from going for a medium where she was used to displaying at galleries in person. Someone would buy her piece of artwork. But now she puts it online. She was wondering how she would protect herself from people just stealing it digitally. So yeah, good one. Another one asked, how are you guys monetizing copyright and NFTs? Do you want to take that one, Joe?
sure. So copyright protection through validation as a service is a key thrust. We have a couple of countries right now talking to us actually to manage their copyright process. The copyright of NFTs, that is the core of our business. When you put an NFT out there and it's validated by UREEQA, we believe it's likely better than having a government copyright because we've done the validation service. We've done the legal attestation for that work. And we've driven credibility. I don't believe there's anybody out there that goes through the process that we do. Our patents pendings are out there. We've not been declined at all. They continue to move forward through the gristmill of government approval. And so, I mean, that's copyright NFTs. They go hand in hand. And honestly, that's why the collections are coming to us as well, to try to protect that generative art and have a UREEQA badge on them. That the key would be that we are the copyright standard in NFTs globally. That's our goal.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And then Ben asked, what about marketplaces and sales? So I know that we already announced a partnership with one marketplace with Disrupt Art, and sales, we have some good ones coming up too as well. For instance, the Florida Dominicana collab with BK. So yeah. And then
July will be a big month, right? We should have a couple sales drop and unique ones. I mean, really cool pieces that should draw attention to us.
Okay, Leo, he says, NFTs are much more than just creative works. We're seeing them be used as records of authenticity, club memberships, etc. Do you think UREEQA can be a benefit to these types of NFTs? So I think that goes back to the mortgage financing that Joe was referencing before. So yeah, and even the insurance possibilities that we were talking about. So yeah, there's
Leo, there are so many use cases for our validation service. I've had personally three long discussions with sports and entertainment companies that are looking to use an NFT and load it with 4 hot dogs, 4 beers, a hat, a baseball, a hockey puck. So absolutely, there's a huge usage from entertainment perspective as far as using that NFT. And like I said, and Carrie reiterated, we just, it's more than just art. I agree. But I always come back to the art because I feel that that was the core of our being. That's what started us. And because of that focus, we'll garner or we'll glean more as we broaden out the use cases. But we're really, when it comes right down to it, we're about protecting and monetizing creator rights.
And then Ben says, has UREEQA considered launching its own store minting website? We do have our marketplace, I think, if that's what you mean. But we are also focusing on partnering with other marketplaces as well to expand our reach. And then Ben also says, can you explain more about the referral program and how you see UREEQAns participating?
Well, this is where we want our community to reach out into their communities. And if you know an artist or another project, we're looking for you to introduce us, and we'll follow up. We'll put someone like Maria will handle most of those follow-ups at this point. And we'll go out there and we'll talk to them and, you know, work with them to help them understand the value of validation on their work and what that brings for them. Once that's done, if it's a successful sales cycle or whatever you want to call it, the person who brought that referral to us will receive a cash payment for that referral. And it's pretty basic. It says it on our website. It's 10% of the gross sale value of that collection or referral. So if you bring something to us that's $100,000 worth of work, you'll get $10,000 of that as your referral value.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. And then we also do have, for instance, the Venus First Provenance page. We do have videos as well. So as you're reaching out to your communities, you can also provide them content about UREEQA so they can learn more about our services and actually see the end use product as well.
And the other thing, Ben, is we're spending a lot of time and money in this quarter on marketing rebrand and marketing focus. It's coming to an end. I think we're very close. I actually met with the head of the one marketing company this morning, and we're in a pretty good spot where we have our persona sorted out. We got a wireframe. We'll have a bunch of music collateral hitting the world next Thursday, which is, you know, six pieces of copy, and it's in marketing, it's 6 pieces of copy, slightly different message, and then we'll do the analytics on that to see which one's resonating, which one's not, and we'll go from there. So all of those things will help in the referral program. You'll start to see that, and so we're hoping that, you know, as people refer, you can say, hey, go to the website, and the website will become much more compelling. People will be drawn to it, and we'll hook. So
yeah,
cool.
So Leo, it's a good question for Mike. You hear a lot about Web3 versus Web2. Could someone give a 5th grader explanation of what Web3 is? He's asking for a friend.
Well, Leo, I don't know how many 5th grader friends I have. But I think Web3 is just a term people use to define the entire space of blockchain and crypto. I mean, that's been my perspective of it. The way I see it is just being in the world of software development and just being in tech in general. I see Web3 as sort of the internet of values, just being able to transfer value on the internet as opposed to Web2, which was just being able to interact and create content and be more creative. I think Web3 is sort of it's an extension of Web2 in that we still have the core of what Web2 gave us, which is the creativity and the ability to create and the tools to create and publicize our work. But Web3 also brings the ability to monetize that work or to give it a certain value that can be transferred or shared between people on the internet. So that's the way I look at it.
Perfect. And then Fogel said, we are dropping some hints today, of course. So what potential NFT use cases is most exciting for each of you? So, that's tough. There's so many exciting ones.
Well, let me go first on this one, maybe. I mean, the way I see NFTs evolving is, we started out with art, and as Joe said, art is in our DNA. It's the core of what we thrive on. But the way I see NFTs evolving is that they're becoming more of use case, or they're more use cases for different aspects or different sectors. So we've seen real estate, we've seen fashion, we've seen membership, we've seen so many different pieces that are coming to play. And the way I think it's going to go, and this is just my opinion, is that the NFT itself will probably become irrelevant, and and people will just find a way to say, well, this is now how I tokenize the value of this particular piece of asset. One of the most exciting ones for me personally, because I like cars, was I saw Chevy was giving away a Corvette recently.
Green Corvette, yeah.
Yeah, a green limited edition Corvette by you entering into an auction or bidding on an NFT. And I think things like that will continue to happen. I've seen a lot, I've been paying a lot of attention to what's happening in fashion and retail, where there's these exclusive drops and exclusive pieces of clothing and shoes and all of that stuff that's coming out, and they're all being done as NFT drops. And I think we'll continue to see that in like the event space, the entertainment, real estate, and so much more.
Go ahead, Carrie.
I think, especially from the conference, one of the interesting ones I came across was the idea of NFTs being used in the metaverse for real estate, but also allowing everyday persons to act as landlords in the metaverse. So not only having other people own it, but helping other people manage and monetize their NFTs as well, which I found super interesting, especially working in a venture capitalist space as well. Yeah, I can imagine if someone else owns an asset, and then you can help someone manage an asset in a completely different world. But yeah, we just saw so many examples, especially with I know sneakerheads have been pretty big. At the conference, they were auctioning off a limited edition Budweiser sneaker that you could purchase the NFT for in a bidding kind of scenario, and win it actually at the conference. And then your ownership of that sneaker is actually tokenized in the blockchain. So yeah, I think those are my favorite examples I saw this week.
So probably my favorite right now is the fractionalization of fine art. So fine art is something that's always been either held by a museum or held by private collectors, and pieces that are not shared with the world. So there's a few people that see it, and that's it. We've talked to one main collector right now, and she's decided she wants to share her collection with more people. So we're talking about how you digitize that and then share it then through a series of NFTs and validation and minting, that those pieces can now be seen by at least 1,000 people, if that's the number she decides for each of those pieces to put out there. And it's at an affordable price so that more people can enjoy it. So for me, that's kind of cool.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay, and this is an interesting one from Ben. It's a use case that we have. He mentioned for the minting website, so for 10K collections, often gives a randomized feature. I was curious if UREEQA will support the randomized minting function as a service included with validation. So I don't think we have, that's similar to like a Hashlips generative art service, I would say. I'm not sure if we have that in our roadmap, but we are able to validate those types of projects that do have randomized features. So we're able to validate the traits, the base artwork, all the things surrounding that, but us ourselves, we don't have the generative art function within our wheelhouse, right?
That's correct. It's not, it's kind of where we'll delineate ourselves, and we will do the validation And then generally that collector group has the right to do that. We have developed a lazy mint, what we call a lazy mint contract, which will allow some different types of, or timing of minting, but we absolutely would leave that to the collection if possible.
Sure. So the other one, Leo says, what are some of the challenges in getting collections to see the value of validation as a service? Do you feel cost is a big hurdle, or is it one of those things that no one thinks they need it until they do?
So I'll share with you one of my experiences. And Carrie was on the call. We had an initial really good call with the CEO and the co-founders of a company that had a collection. Second call, they brought on a CTO who point blank said, I don't think I need this, blah, blah, blah. And my response is, you're right, you don't need to do this. You can be just like OpenSea and everybody else and don't give a rat's ass about what's going on in your marketplace and how valid those pieces are. That flipped the conversation pretty quick. And we have a number of different ways to make it attractive from cost perspective. So, you know, we'll take an upfront piece, we'll take some inventory of NFTs, we'll take a back end residual pay out of how many they sell. We got all through with this conversation with this guy, and it was only all happened in an hour. And it got down to, I just want to pay so much in NFT. And he goes, I'll just bury it in my minting costs. Okay, so I think we are competitively, that was Leo, right? Asked that one, or is it Ben?
That was Leo that asked one.
Sorry, Leo. So I think, Leo, we can be competitive, especially on collections, because there is, you know, there's the ability to mass, you know, the economies of scale on some of these. So absolutely, I mean, the thing that stops everybody in this space right now is they don't see the need because they haven't been burnt yet. I mean, I was lucky. I know that one of the co-founders, and you know, I was able to tell him, you know, you're going to get burnt unless you put this properly, you put this in place. So, you know, we should be moving forward with them next month. So,
yeah, awesome. And another barrier I've seen is big name collections as well, thinking that they have the notoriety that they don't need it right now. But actually, we just saw Bored Ape Yacht Club put governance page. So if Bored Ape Yacht Club, the most, you know, that's whoever knows them within NFTs, if they're putting up provenance, they see the value in it too. So I think the other collections underneath it will follow suit as well, because we can provide that third-party service in order for them to complete it, because a lot of collections don't have the assets or the community fund that a BAYC has. So, yeah. And Josh says, quick question involving validating physical assets. Is that something UREEQA is looking to get into, taking physical assets and putting them on a blockchain validated by UREEQA? It is, and we've done it before. So we have done that with BK's The Hands of Time. So that was a painting we did as one of our first proof of concepts that we tokenized, put on the blockchain, and sold. I think 5 of them sold for about 8 ETH a piece on OpenSea, with utility attached with that as well. And you're going to see more physical assets coming in the coming months as well, that are validated by UREEQA that are going to be up for sale. So stay tuned. Good question, Josh. Let's see. Any other question? Answer? Oh, Leo, any info you can share about any possible updates to our website or marketplace?
yes, lots coming down, Leo. Like I said earlier, we are almost at the end of the job with rebranding some of the website touch and feel. You'll notice there is some changes up there now. Mike and team have been doing a bunch sort of iteratively as we wait for the final work from the marketing company. So my goal would be that we have a new, fully completed new look and feel no later than the end of September, but you'll start to see changes in the next 6-8 weeks.
Perfect. And then any other questions on there? Leo says BK the artist is a really cool guy, very talented. Very nice. Anything else? So that's all the questions I see right now. Do you want to
Okay. I'll wrap it up. So first of all, thanks everybody for participating. This is good for you and it's really good for us. It's a chance to share, a chance to get some questions out there. And the more, and any questions valid. And if it's been asked before, I don't care. It just means that, you know, we're gonna repeat it. We're gonna be consistent. But more importantly, we're hoping people pick up on it and share the news. Happy to do these. Everyone on the team's happy to do these. Marco would have been here, but he had a bit of a spill, so he's off getting his ankle checked right now. And so just thank you for taking the time. I know everyone's busy. They got day jobs they're working on, and look forward to the next one.
Yeah. Awesome. Perfect. Thank you guys so much. Your questions were awesome. Shed a lot of light on everything too. So happy to share with the community. So yeah.
Yeah, and I want to say thanks to, you know, we're always willing to, I'm always willing to assist wherever possible and answer any questions.
Perfect. Awesome. We'll have a great Friday. Enjoy your weekends, everybody. And be safe, not like Marco. Don't take any slips or falls. So.
Exactly. Thanks, everyone.